Hello, Arizona, and welcome to this episode of 22 Minutes with Jayson. That would be me. I'm going to bring you the lender side of things. And Mr.
I don't know what I was doing. I'm sorry.
You were dancing or something. That's Stephen Cotton, as you can see from the pre-show there. He's going to bring us the real estate side of things, and together we are going to hope to bring you valuable content that you can use when you're looking to buy, sell, or refinance, or even invest in property. If you're looking to do any one of those things, we want to talk to you as soon as possible. So you can do that by calling us. We can't call you because we don't know you yet, but call us. There you go. Our numbers are below here, and we'd love to talk to you about your situation and help you realize your American dream of home ownership here in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. If you're on Facebook, head over to our Facebook page. Give us that like if you would. Like our page there at 22 Mins. We would appreciate that. We're trying to get to 1,000 likes. Almost there. Not quite there yet. Need your help. If you're watching this from wherever on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, please share it with your friends and family. Help spread the word as we're trying to put valuable content out there about real estate. So appreciate that support.
Yes.
All right, that does it for all the disclaimers, I guess, or whatever. Hopefully everybody liked that pre-show. I like that pre-show stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
You like that?
I didn't like the part where I was having trouble with my Facebook on the other computer, but the view was pretty nice.
Yeah. Beautiful state we live in, and we're lucky to be in a city like Phoenix. Phoenix is a pretty cool town, pretty cool city. Okay, so let's get to the tweet quote of the day, shall we? And then we'll get into today's topic because this is a hot one for today. All right, this is, and I could have blown this up maybe a little bit here, but this is the stuff that we try to bring you, right? Content is anything that adds value to a reader's life. And we hope that by you watching the show, we're adding value to your life as the reader of the show in real estate. So that's today's tweet quote of the day. There's a lot of gibberish out there. That's why I thought about this. Like, you know, I was doing some research about this particular topic here today.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of videos on YouTube. I don't know. I'm not trying to be critical. I mean, information is good. Don't get me wrong, but there's some cheesy stuff out there.
How to get your offer accepted?
Yeah.
Like slide in a pair of my boxers with the offer.
Some of it's like, really? What do you? I mean, I don't know. I just didn't even like watch because there's so much of it. Right. There's a lot of garbage out there, and so content, good quality content, is super important, especially in this environment, because this can be super frustrating. Today, Trending Tuesday, we're going to talk about what's trending in real estate, and today what's trending is your offers. If you're a buyer out there, how do you make your offer stand out amongst all the other offers that are out there? It's super, super competitive, not just here in Phoenix, but across the country. And so we're going to hopefully give you some insider tips, some things that maybe the realtors, you, Stefan, have conversations with the other realtor on.
Yeah. Did you like that plug?
Yeah, I like that plug, man. I love that plug. You're going the opposite way. There it is. There's the plug.
Yeah.
Hey, tell everyone how they have you figured out how you're going to do that?
Right. Have we figured this out yet?
Yeah.
No. So there's a way, and it's inspired by the way I think LuLaRoe does their like sharing and stuff. But so I need to talk to my wife, Chantel. If you're watching, please call me later, not right now because we're in a show. But we will be giving away some mugs, some gift cards, and a T-shirt to the 1,000th or the 1,001th or whoever gives us the most likes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that there's a way to monitor that, so I just want to make sure whoever does the best to promote us. Our goal is 1,000. We are so close to 1,000. I think we're like 20 away or something.
Yeah, we're close, man. We're very close.
So
close we can almost reach it and touch it. Hey, let's get right into Trending Tuesday, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, trending Tuesday. So, accept and reject. This is from seller's perspective, buyer's perspective. I want to get both sides of this because sometimes we don't talk about the seller when you're trying to make an offer so much, but the seller has a lot of say so in that.
Well, it's the seller that accepts it or rejects it, so they have the most say so.
Yeah, they have all the say so. Yeah, true that. True that. Captain Obvious. So we want to talk about. Let's talk about first the buyer's side here, Stefan.
Sure.
So right now here in the Valley, you're dealing with a client right now who has had some frustrations in getting their offer accepted. You have made some offers that have even been above asking price, maybe even above potentially the appraised value of the property, yet to only get declined and rejected. So talk us through that that process.
And it's a battle for every offer. Every time you meet a new client, this is the biggest hurdle I have is, I show them who I am and how I do or what we do and show them how knowledgeable I am in the market. But then I have to tell them, no, you have to come above list price. So they're like, so they don't understand that. So It's a lot of education. So every time I meet with the buyer, I need to bring them into my office or sit down with them and show them exactly, look, this is your area. Here's what it listed for. Here's what it sold for. Like the last 3 months, it listed for 202. It sold for 208, I have to educate them on that because people think that, okay, so it's at 200. They built in some wiggle room. They might have said, yeah, we'll accept an offer 190. If we get an offer for 190, we'll take it. But in this market, they put it up for 200 and then get 4, 5, 8. I had one last night. We were offer number 14. So
crazy.
So 14. How do you educate? Yeah, how do you educate your buyer that we're one of 14 and we might not get it?
Right.
So what we did is we put our best foot forward. We went to 5,000 above list price. Of course, we asked for 2% concessions, which is about $3,000, and then or 3,400 or something, and $60K down. So we're strong. We're going to close, and if it doesn't appraise for that, 5,000 above, I think my client's okay to pay that amount.
So now, one thing, I mean, that's certainly a strategy there too. And I always tell your buyers, look, if you're needing seller concessions, it's not just seller concessions. We kind of define that a little bit. There are closing costs associated with any loan, right? It doesn't matter who. Well, it does kind of matter, but three people can pay those: either the seller, the buyer, you, or the lender can pay those closing costs. So I tell sometimes clients, look, if you're asking for seller concessions and you feel that may prohibit you from getting that property, look at making your offer a little bit cleaner by not asking for seller concessions if you're willing to accept a little bit higher interest rate, and I'll pay the closing costs on your behalf.
Right.
That's one way to kind of make your offer a little cleaner, if you will.
And when we talk about you, the lender, paying those closing costs, how much more are we talking, like in a range? Let's say it's a $200,000 house. Mm-hmm. We're talking like a quarter of a point.
So as a rule of thumb, good question. So as a rule of thumb, 1/4 1/4% equals 1 point of the loan amount. So it's a little different here. Okay. So when you're asking for a sales price of $200,000, 1% of that is $2,000. But if you're putting 5% down, as an example, just to keep the number simple, that's $10,000. Therefore, your loan amount is $190. So my 1% is $1,900, not $2,000, because I'm using 1% of the loan amount, not 1% of the sales price that you get on the seller side. Okay, so a little bit off, but it does make the offer a little bit cleaner to the seller.
So we need hypothetically 2.5%, or let's just say 2%,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We need 2%. So you will take that for half a point of interest. You will be able to.
Yes, it doesn't always work. That's just a good rule of thumb. Sometimes it might only be 3/8 of a point for 2 points, kind of thing. Okay. So it's just a good rule of thumb, depending on the
better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I'd rather. But if we can take, so the 2 points would be, in that scenario, it would be 3,800, not 4,000.
Right.
Typical loan costs are FHA. I always say my rule of thumb is 3% FHA, 2% conventional and VA,
Hmm.
and then 1% cash. Those are the closing costs, right?
Hmm.
Um, so if we needed 3%, we got 2% from you, and then we could maybe even just ask for 1% from the seller.
Exactly, exactly. All in an effort to make it cleaner. I guess the point being is, as a buyer, you have options when it comes to the closing costs. It's not just ask for the seller. You have options within your own loan to try to accommodate. And this is where lenders can really kind of separate themselves from each other, because some lenders, given their rates and things like that, may not have as much spread to accommodate paying some of the closing costs, where other lenders, because of their rate structure and stuff, may have a little more spread to help cover those
Yeah,
closing costs. Okay.
that's pretty neat. So here's the thing, because I have a the buyer from yesterday. She's at Wells Fargo,
Hmm.
pre-qualified.
Hmm.
I haven't seen the prequel yet. She's supposed to hook me up today,
Hmm.
and we were number 14 out of 14. But I had a really good talk with the listing agent,
Hmm.
and the agent's all like, "Well, my client really has a specific things they need to see in the contract." I said, "Well, what are they?" And then they said, "Well, I shouldn't tell you." I go, "If you want your client to be happy with an offer, you will tell me what she's looking for in a contract, so I could present what she needs in the contract." He's like, "Okay, well, that makes sense." And so then he was telling me, close, and but before the end of June. I was like, okay, if you have a shorter inspection period, I go, okay, we can do a 3-day inspection period. He's like, and then I think one other verbiage or something, and I said, okay, yeah, we can do all that, so I'll work that up in an offer. But he was like, my client really wants specific stuff. Well,
Hmm.
tell us what that specific stuff is, right? So we can see if we can be a match. If we
Right.
can't close, if we can't close a loan in 24 days, then we're not one to get our offer accepted.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so, but it was a really good talk with the guy, and he was I had a really good chat with him, and I think that's the other part is have your agent talk to the listing side. What does my offer need to look like to get accepted?
Yeah. Yeah.
Will
Exactly.
this get accepted?
I know when I purchased my home, I was having that conversation with my agent, and my agent wasn't very good at the time.
Yeah,
But I was kind of telling him what to do. He wasn't making the suggestions to me, and that's one of the things that when we talk about interview your agent, get to know your agent before you start making offers on homes. Get to know their level of expertise, because these situations are very common. It's very common right now.
right.
So you got to have a good agent who's going to think outside the box and put together a strategy to help your offer stand out amongst the others. So make your offers clean as possible. I guess that's the takeaway from that there. Another tip might be don't ask for personal property. I'm not seeing that so much right now. I don't know. Do
Yeah.
you see that a lot right now?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because 2 out of my 6 escrows or something is that, hey, our clients are willing to sell some furniture. Tell us what you want. It's outside of the escrow.
Uh
So,
huh.
but I'm seeing, I've seen it where, do you want the beds? Do you want the, because what it is, 2 of these houses have been, I think, Airbnbs. And so there's just nice little furniture in there.
Hmm.
So they're unloading it. But you don't ask for it in the contract. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want the patio furniture. If you're going to get the patio furniture, you're going to get it outside of escrow.
Right. Right. Another tip might be to consider waiving or shortening the inspection period. Maybe.
That's what I said. We did 3 days on our contract last night.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, you did say that.
Well, that's right.
Uh,
No, but it's good that you're reiterating it
yeah.
because how much time do you need in an inspection period?
Right. I
My
mean,
my guys can get out there tomorrow.
right.
My guys will
T-
be out there tomorrow looking at this for me.
10
No
days is
bother.
the typical, right? 10
Yep.
days is the average. But if you shorten that to 7 or 3 days, like you mentioned, well, you're making your offer stand out a little bit above the others, because everybody else is going to be asking for that 10 or 7 days. So that's a good
Without knowing.
strategy. Yeah, without even knowing it. Um, and then I guess too, as far as maybe increase the down payment. I mean, I see a lot of contracts with $500 or $1,000 down payment, or
Yeah,
earnest money. Excuse me.
so our offer was in the 170 range, and we put 3,000 down. So I
Yeah.
did everything like everything you're talking about is exactly what I put in this offer because they already told me they had a verbally accepted offer. I said, well, nothing's in writing, so that's why I stacked it up. If I can beat this verbally accepted offer, it's a big win. If I don't, then I know we put our best foot forward. But yeah, we put $3,000 down, and that all goes down to your down payment, everybody. So if you're going to
Yeah.
spend 3.5% down on an FHA loan, you're probably going to put about 7,000 down, or 6,000 down. If you can put the $3,000 down now, then why not?
Yeah. Right. Now let's talk a little bit about an escalation clause. I want to get you kind of your take on an escalation clause. First of all, explain it to the viewers about what or I can. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you do it. I've done it. It's just in
Okay.
my head. I know the word, and I've done it before. You start, and then I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. So
Yeah.
one strategy might be to have an escalation
Okay.
clause in your offer, meaning that
Right.
you're going to give your highest and best at a certain point in an effort to outbid the other 14 offers or 13 offers that you have in front of you. So that's essentially what an escalation clause is. Is that a
We
good?
will be we
Go
will
ahead.
be $500 above your highest offer.
Correct. Correct.
That's what I mean. That's the little verbiage. Whatever your highest offer is, we will beat it by $500 or $1,000 with proof of the offer. Show us the offer. You can black out the names. Just don't
Right.
just don't tell us it's 180.
Uh-oh. Did we just lose him? There he is. All right, back.
Right back in the game.
There you
But
are.
the escalation thing, I haven't done it lately. But it might be a thing to do. You got to get your clients comfortable. The most important thing is, as a buyer, you have to be okay to pay 180.
That's the thing that's really hard, right? Real estate is an emotional choice anyway. And then to feel like, because that's exactly how I felt. I felt like ended up, because I had an escalation clause in mine, and I won it by $300, or so I was told. I won it by $300. But I felt like I overpaid for the property then at that point.
Right.
Right? Like I gave the ceiling, and just so happens we hit that ceiling. And it's like, oh man, seriously? Could you have looked out for me and just gotten below that ceiling, Mr. Realtor? But
Well, and that's why I always say with proof of the other offer, because without the
yeah,
proof of the other offer, the other agent could just say, they would say your highest max is 280,000, right?
yeah,
Well, guess what? The highest offer was 279,600, so you got it.
I know, and that's what happened. I didn't get the proof of the other offer, and it really didn't sit well with me with that agent. No,
But
yeah.
how are you sitting now, though? I mean, you have equity in the house.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting beautiful. I mean, it's a great
So you might have paid a little extra in the front, but on
at
the
the
back
time.
end, yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, what's $4,000? Let's call it $4,000.
Yeah,
Let's call it now. Money is money, but
right.
you bought this house. You actually increased the value of the neighborhood when you close on a higher price than the neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
If you did overpace, which helps the neighborhood go faster and grow exponentially.
right.
So 5 years from now, you've here's what you do when you sell your house.
Mhm,
Think to yourself, I could have had $4,000 more.
mhm.
I want you to remember that when you collect $90,000 from selling the property, I could have had 94,000
Right,
because it's not going to be in your head 5 years from now.
right.
But the $90,000 in your hand is what matters.
Okay, so we've gone over some of the seller or buyer side. Let's look at it a little bit from the seller's perspective here. This is something I don't really get a chance to talk to, sellers per se. So give us some insight. What makes an offer kind of from a seller's perspective? Is it just price? Is that it?
It's net. Yeah, let's talk about the net. It's all about the net. But it's also it's also emotional too. So that's why we didn't talk about writing a letter of who the family
Yeah,
is.
I
And why
want
they
to.
love the
Yep,
home.
yep.
But if we can tie the seller to the emotional aspect of a buyer that's going to really enjoy this house as much as they enjoyed the house, they're more apt to take that offer.
Even if it's
Maybe not.
less, right? In some cases.
So, yes. So it's always helps you to have this letter of who
Hmm.
you are as a family, why you like it, why you like the schools. Hey, it's only 8 doors away from the school, so my kid can walk to school every morning.
Right.
We love that about this neighborhood. We've been waiting for this house to hit the market, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Because if you can attach to the seller's strings, and you still get a similar net, they're more apt to work with you. Maybe they'll even counter to get the same net that they would have got the other people, but they want to sell it to you. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
So, but without the emotional side, it's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers. So, if I sell it for 200 and you're asking for 3%, that's an offer of 194,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So, if the house is listed at 200 and you're already offering 194 because you need those concessions, if we didn't tie it in with the lender, like you mentioned, you're already going to lose to somebody that's coming at 200 that has a lender that's tying in those closing costs.
Right. Right.
And so,
Well,
yeah.
I was just going
And
to say, tying in the letter. Okay, the letter. I think it's critical that you mention that because we're at that point now. We were at this point in 2011, 12, where inventory was low, prices were really cheap, investors coming in buying properties. I saw a lot of offers accompanied with a letter of, "Hey, this is the house for me and my family. This is why I love this house." Blah blah blah. We're going to take care of it. Blah, blah. Especially for the individuals who were losing homes on short sales, who were already emotionally tied into the property. Now you've got somebody who's going to take care of your baby, kind of thing, if you will, in the house and take as much care of it as you would. That
Right.
does play on the emotional aspect of things, and people are more willing to look at those offers over somebody who's just going to turn and flip it and tear it down or remodel the whole thing or whatever, and not really take the value for what the house means to the seller.
Right. I'll put it this way: if you don't have a letter, you might lose to somebody that does have a letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if the letters aren't important, and let's say the letters aren't important, well, at least you put the letter in. Because I mean, if you lose it because someone else has a letter and you didn't write a letter, then and your story's better. What if your story's way better?
Right.
And if you lose to say, well, I had a higher offer, well, guess what? You should have wrote that letter. So this episode should be write that letter.
Yeah. Write the letter, and maybe even accompany a few pictures of your family, the kids, and stuff like that. These all sort of things play. Remember, real estate's an emotional decision, not just for you, the buyer, but also the seller. So if you're showing that you're empathetic to them selling the house, then your offer may get accepted. So, all right. Well, yeah, anything that will help. I think we covered a lot, man. I mean, it's not really like bullet point kind of thing, but we did cover a lot in your offer. Talk to your realtor. Number one, get a strategy before you make your offer. If this happens, then our strategy. If that happens, then get a whole map out for where you want to take it. I think is a good takeaway from this whole thing.
And I'd like to wrap up, and I know we're down to 1 second, so time's up. No, I'd like to wrap up. I always tell my clients this: I'll write the offer any way you want, any way you want. If you want to come in 10,000 lower and ask for 3%, that's fine. Until you tell me you want the house, Stefan, we don't want to lose this house. Well, then now we have to switch gears. I need that letter. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to talk to our lender about paying off those points, so that way it's a clean offer. Whatever we need to do to get our offer accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we lose a house and the difference was $18 a month for the house that you wanted because we lost it, then it's worth $18 a month to get the house you want.
Well, it's a good point because then you go on to the next house, then you feel like you're settling for just a house instead of getting the one you want, which can leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Or even worse, you spend more on that second house because it was a higher price point anyway. So now you're spending $18 more a month for that house when you could have done that $18 a month for this house.
Yeah. Or a higher interest rate because their interest rates are predicted to rise, right? You could be caught with a rising interest rate and you end up paying higher rate. And I mean, there's all sorts of things. Don't let the little stuff, and we see this quite often with buyers, they get real nitpicky. Well, I got to have a deal. It's a deal. I got to have a deal. I mean, I've had people walk away. I had a gentleman walk away from a house he said the roof wasn't in good shape. Okay, negotiate with the seller to get the roof.
Yeah.
No. Didn't want the house. Went to the next house. The next house had some kind of electrical thing. Okay, we'll work with them to get the electrical fixed. Nope, not doing it. He's still to this day, and it's been over 4 months now, still looking for a house, and now the prices have even gone up even higher, so he's paying more.
Sounds like he needs to talk to me.
Yeah.
I don't need to be his realtor, but I'll, hey, listen here, man.
He needs to watch the show.
Yeah, but he used to. He doesn't anymore.
No, he needs to watch the show. Yeah, he needs to watch the show.
Like I said, he used to watch our show, and then he wasn't liking our answers.
Right.
Yeah, you have to feel like you get a deal, but at the end of the day, here's and we talked about it yesterday, and maybe we'll talk about it some other time. But if you can't get the loan, remember we're talking about the DTI going up to 50% yesterday. I said you're going to spend $1,500 a month renting. Why not spend $1,500 a month or $1,400 a month owning a home just like it or something?
Right.
So if he's not in a rush, does he need to sell his house? Is that okay?
No. It's an investment property thing, and he thinks he knows the market better than anybody, and he knows construction better than anybody, and he's just kind of in his own world, not listening to professionals. And everything's negotiable in a real estate transaction, and he's just not willing to go to the table on it. That's just his deal, and for that, he's going to lose out a little bit, but that's his choice. So
Enough about him.
yeah, enough about him.
Downer. Way to wrap it up on a sour note.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Hey, thanks. I know we went over time here, but there's a lot of content here. This is super valuable for today's marketplace. So if you're looking for a good team who's going to put a strategy in place for you to have success when making an offer on a home, then we want to be your team of choice. So please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you and love to work with you. And certainly, if you know anybody in the who's looking to buy, sell, refinance, or invest in property, we want to work with them too. So please pass our names along to them. And while you're watching, hey, share the episode, share it with your friends and family, your sphere of influence. That would be very appreciated on our part. So we appreciate that. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We do this Monday through Friday, Arizona time, 9 a.m. To catch the live show, or you can always catch the replay over on YouTube. So with that, we'll go ahead and say good day for today, and we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday at 9 a.m. Take care, everyone.
Sounds good.
All right, bye-bye.